Hey guys, Coach Katie here on the next episode of Tuesday Talks. This week's topic is 5 ways to actually get better at practice. This is actually, I think, my favorite topic so far that I've been asked, and I'm really excited to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to maximize what you're getting out of practice. I can't tell you as a coach how frustrating it is, though, to show up to a practice and have my girls, after I've put in all this time and effort to making this practice plan, to watch them just kind of go through the motions and not see how what we're doing is important and translates to a game. As a coach, it is my responsibility to make sure that you athletes are making that connection. But athletes, it is important that you guys are trying to maximize your time at practice. Don't think that just by showing up that automatically is going to somehow make you better. It's not. You have to do what you need to do at practice in order to make that happen. So the first point, thinking big picture. You always want to think, regardless of what drill you're doing, how does this relate back to a game? How does this situation play out in a game? How does this skill apply to a game situation? Even the most simple of drills, while they can get a little bit redundant, and it feels like you're just kind of going through this, doing the same thing over and over again, well, you are, but you're building muscle memory. So for those basic fundamental skills, when you are in a game, you don't have to think about doing that basic fundamental skill. Your muscle memory kicks in, you do it instinctually, and now you open your mind up to think about more important things like game strategy, what pass you're going to make, how to play out this play, how to take, what shot you want to take, etc. So you always want to think big picture and how it relates to the game. The next point is making everything game-like. It doesn't do you any good to step up, take a rep at 50 to 75% speed because you're not going to be going 50 to 75% in a game. So it doesn't make sense to build your muscle memory and to drill things over and over and over again at a pace at which you're not actually going to use that skill. Everything you want to try to keep it as game-like as possible so that when you are in a game-like situation, your muscle memory is built accurately. The next one is communication, and this is kind of twofold. So the first one is on-field communication, learning how to directly and effectively communicate with your teammates. Whenever I step out to work with a defense, I always hear, the basics. I've got help, I've got cutter, I've got ball, and that's great. You guys are talking, you're getting loud, you're at least starting to communicate with each other, which is phenomenal. But what we want you guys to do is take it a step further. Let's be a little bit more directive. So instead of saying, I've got help, I've got your help left, force her left. That takes the decision-making process away from my teammate, which is going to cut down on reaction time. She's going to hear that and respond. So when I say, I've got your help left, force her left, okay, I don't even have to think about it. I turn, I step, I force my girl left. So that's the on-field communication. And you want to have that all over the field. You want to be as directive and effective as you possibly can. You want to instruct people on what to go. You want to take as many decisions away as possible. Again, cut down on that reaction time. Now, the other type of communication is communicating with your coach and being able to articulate when you don't understand something, whether it be a drill or a concept. You want to make sure that you understand how what you're doing relates back to a game, so that you understand the bigger picture, like point one that we talked about, and that you can go game speed because you do understand how it relates to the game, like I said in point two. So make sure that you're always asking when you don't understand something. That's how you're going to get the most out of what you're doing at practice. The next one is competitive matchups and accountability. It's really frustrating to me to watch a girl who's at the elite level match up with a girl that's nowhere close to her just for the sake of winning that drill. That's not benefiting her at all. You want to make sure that every time that you're taking a rep that you're marking up on someone or you're going against someone who's going to challenge you to make you better. You want to find someone that is either better than you or your same skill level, but again, someone that's going to push you to be better. And even if that means you might not win that rep, that's okay. The other side of that too is holding each other accountable. If you have a teammate that's dropping pass after pass after pass, she might not even be aware of that. But if that's something that you're seeing, it's okay to call her out and tell her to hit the wall and get in some extra reps. That's how you're going to make her better. And at the end of the day, this is a team sport. So even though you might be the best player on your team, it's now your responsibility to make sure that you're helping the rest of your teammates improve as well. That's how you really start to build that championship culture, and that's how teams who perform really well on a consistent basis, that's the nature of their program. They hold each other accountable, and they're constantly striving to make everyone around them and themselves better. But the last point that I have for you is to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and try new things. You're not going to score that behind the back shot in a game if you've never tried it in practice. You're not going to, find really what way is most effective for you to take the draw if you don't try different ways. I know sometimes it's easy to find something that you're comfortable with right away and kind of stick with that and try to perfect it. But the way you're going to be a really versatile and really that elite high-level player is if you have tons of different tools to use and to draw on, and that's how you're going to be the most versatile and most lethal player. All of these things kind of flow together, and I think a lot of these kind of go without saying, but again, it's really important that you're maximizing your time at practice. Don't think that just because you're showing up that that's going to somehow make you better. You got to do all of these things if you want to really increase your level of play. That's all I've got for you today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.